What's up everybody? Thank you for tuning in. My name is Fizz and today we're going to be jumping right back into Talk of Chucky. Today we're discussing episode 2, Give Me Something Good to Eat. The episode opens up with a young Charles after trick-or-treating in Hackensack, 1965. He's dumping out his candy on the table, and we get this fucked up sequence of him grabbing a green apple that has a razor blade in it, and they do this fake out where he's not gonna eat it, he's gonna eat it, he's not gonna eat it, and he just fucking bites into it, and blood pours out of his mouth, and such a fucked that was really good. Fuck. And that's just the cold open because we open up with Jake and Junior with his family inside the car. It's been 1 week since the first episode, so I don't know if it's real time, but it has been 1 week since Lucas died. Jake's talking about his seat and the Lex is getting too warm. His cousin's giving him shit for that. It's just this whole little sequence of him trying to adjust to his new life with his new family. They're taking Junior to school. Jake might go to school. He's still kind of hemming with the idea, and by the time he gets there, yes, he does want to go to school, but he's kind of reluctant to it. I think it's because, as we do see, people are reacting because they're curious what the hell happened to his dad. And I think there's obviously a lot of anxiety to, Jake leaving Chucky at home by himself, which rightfully so, he should have anxiety about. We cut back to the Wheelers, and we can actually see the housekeeper, Annie, sweeping inside Jake's room. She got the vacuum cleaner going while Chucky's kind of watching her really creepily. He's fucking with her. He's laughing. He knocks a glass vase over and breaks it. He doesn't really seem to be up to anything more so than just fucking with this woman. That is until she notices a nice little blood spot on his cheek, and she takes some Windex, hits him square in the face with it, and wipes him up. I think she was doing him a favor. But I don't think he really appreciated that favor because the next scene is her downstairs with somebody stalking behind her with this really creep ominous breathing, which we've heard previously in the flashback sequences with young Charles creeping up on his mom. And of course, just like out of the trailers, Annie does get pushed over by Chucky into the knives and impales her in the neck, probably in the torso. It's gross. It's a really good kill though. And who the hell puts the knives up in the dishwasher? If you do that, don't fucking do that. Next we cut to this week's title card, which yes, all the title cards are going to be unique. This one has some knives and razor blades in it with some jack-o'-lanterns. It's the Halloween themed one. Now next has caused a lot of contention surprisingly, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw my hat into the contention ring. And that's the sequence where Jake actually confronts Chucky about killing the housekeeper because Chucky swears up and down he didn't do it. And it's really easy to believe that he is totally lying because, that's just kind of his thing. If he kills people, lying's probably not too far off. And the entire sequence is Jake basically telling him, look, I'm not fucking stupid and I know you did it. Which Chucky responds with basically the truth and saying, look, I could have killed anybody over this entire week, including you, but I didn't. And Jake asks him why, and he says, because I'm trying to help you. Now, I do think the I'm trying to help you does help push the lie aspect. Chucky doesn't want to help this kid. I think he's trying to get something out of it. What that thing is, probably just personal enjoyment, probably just entertainment. And the whole scene's kind of rounded out at the end where Chucky says, and I'm telling you, I didn't kill the damn housekeeper, and I don't know. I think this is funny. The contention comes from folks thinking that it's obvious that Chucky lied, and those of us that kind of think maybe Chucky's telling the truth. Now, hear me out on this. What reason does Chucky have to lie to Jake in this scene? Now, yes, sure, he's trying to appeal to Jake, but we see in a later scene, when confronted, Chucky straight up just punches Jake in the face, doesn't even think about it. So I don't see Chucky feeling the need to lie about his motives here. Why would he lie about killing the housekeeper if he really didn't do it? If he's trying to turn Jake into a bloodthirsty monster like he is, then why wouldn't he actually, tell him, yeah, I did it, fuck her, who cares? Because Jake already makes it known that he doesn't believe him. Chucky, in my mind, has really no reason to lie to Jake here. Now, when the kids do get home from school and they find the body, you do see Chucky in the background run upstairs behind Junior, which is super suspect, so I don't know, maybe he did it, maybe he didn't do it. But I do know from other things in trailers and TV spots from the series, it's pretty much a given we're going to be dealing with multiple Chuckies at some point. We know that Nika's going to be showing up, and we've also seen stuff in other TV spots that pretty much insinuates multiple Chucky dolls. So I don't think it's entirely off the table for it to have been Chucky, but just not this Chucky. And I actually have a backup to this theory, so let's go ahead and fast forward to the Halloween party sequence. Here we can see Caroline playing video games with Chucky, which is such an adorable scene, and Chucky literally makes mention right here that you can kill the babysitter, you can kill the housekeeper, and that's pretty much on the nose. That is pretty much him saying that he did it. But there's something in the way that this next scene is edited that's kind of jarring to me, and I think it's intentional. Is that we see Chucky playing video games with Caroline in this basement room, right? But the next sequence is Chucky laying underneath the bed in the same room that Lexi and Junior are in, making out while he's trying to stab up through the mattress. We see them get confronted in that room. Lexi and Junior get kicked out while Chucky's still laying underneath the bed. But then towards the end of the episode, when Lexi actually finds Caroline downstairs, the controller's sitting there empty, and Chucky's actually behind her with the knife. So I think it's really funny that Chucky would be able to get throughout this house with nobody noticing him very quickly. So perhaps the doll that's playing video games with Caroline never left that room. It was just hanging out and maybe running point for other Chuckies, trying to tell them, hey, here's where to go get my target. While the second one ran upstairs and tried to stab up underneath the mattress at both of them. But again, this is all theories because Who knows? And I've seen a lot of folks get mad at people for bringing up these types of theories about being like, well, no, it's obviously Chucky. Why would you even think about that? And the reason's really simple. It's because we like Chucky, and we actually live in a world where we get new Chucky every week, so why wouldn't we want to take advantage of that and talk about it episodically? I think theorizing is some of the funnest stuff we can do. It's not about us being right. I'm sure a lot of stuff that I've already said in my first episode is wrong. I'm sure a lot of what I'm saying right now is going to be wrong. I'm not doing it to be right, and I don't think anybody is. I think we're doing it because it's fun, because it's really easy to watch a whole movie and be like, well, I wonder what they're going to do in 5 to 6 years. As opposed to a TV show that you watch and go, I wonder what they're going to do next week. So let's not fault people for fan theorizing. It's fun. We're all just a bunch of nerds. Let's just enjoy Chucky, right? But the best thing to come out of this Jake and Chucky talking sequence is finally, the first reference in 17 years. Chucky references the fact that he does have a queer kid, gender fluid to be specific. So finally the tomb's been unlifted. Glenn and Glenda have been referenced. And the thing I really love about this is that Chucky uses the word have a queer kid, not had a queer kid, which tells me that Glenn is very much so alive. Now, it's just a small passing reference. This might be all we get of them, even a hint to their existence. They may never show up, but it doesn't matter because no matter what happens, they got referenced. They still existed. Because at Fizz TV, seed of Chucky erasure is against my religion. Because at Fizz TV, seed of Chucky erasure is against my religion. The episode goes on. We get a hilarious scene with Logan and Bree where they're confronted about their housekeeper being murdered. Or, well, dying, I guess. It's an accident at this point. They believe it was an accident. And Bree comes in saying, I know it's cliche, but she really was part of the family. So you can't help but laugh when they're asked what the maid's home address or if she had any living relatives. They literally don't know. They're just like, oh, this is embarrassing. Just a bunch of hoity-toity rich people living in their own worlds. You see Nice Devin Sawa get a little defensive when they're both asked about, well, did Jake have any problems with Annie? Did Annie have any problems with him? And they're even asked about their own son, Junior, and they react pretty defensively to this and don't really appreciate it. But you gotta give it to the cops. It is pretty fucking weird that 2 accidents in 1 week, right? Next we have this really nice segment between Devin and his detective mom where she kind of updates him on really what's going on at his friend the Wheeler's house. And she gets a little prying with her questions about, well, I don't know if you've talked to Jake, and, he's gay, and Devin kind of asks what's that got to do with me, and she says, I don't know. And it is a sweet scene because she's literally asking, like, I don't know, and it's almost a scene of, like, well, is there anything you want to tell me, Devin? Now, I don't specifically know, but the implication I get here is that maybe she figured that Devin would talk to Jake because Jake is gay, and because maybe she feels that maybe Devin may be closeted as well. And it's kind of brought to a point where she leaves the room, and immediately Devin takes out his phone and starts texting Jake and kind of hoping and pining that he'll come to the Halloween party tonight at Oliver's. Next is a scene kind of seeing Lexi's home life where her little sister, her very talented little sister Caroline, is doing this really beautiful portrait of Chucky. We see her parents come downstairs who basically fawn over Caroline's art, and rightfully so, it's really good. And while Lexi's throwing shade at the art, her parents basically tell her, look, you're a real bitch, you've never been good at anything as good as your sister is at this, so just sit there and shut up. And it's kind of a messed up scene because you can see how Lexi may feel annoyed by her parents, but her idiocy is completely punctuated in the next moment where she literally says that Jake is the one bullying her. Now I know that maybe she feels that that's the case, maybe there's something that predates this series that we don't know that Jake did to Lexi, but either way, that is dumb as hell. After everything the audience knows right now, what a dumb remark. So you really don't feel bad for her when pretty much everybody throughout the episode continues to put her in her place. It's really funny too when Lexi says he's a bully and Caroline says, who's a bully, Chucky? And her mom says, no honey, he's not. And I see people making fun of this saying, why does the little girl have a fascination with a serial killer? Y'all, it is a TV show. She doesn't even know he's a killer. Relax. Like, that's the whole joke. Welcome to the funny. Like, that's the whole joke. Welcome to the funny. And this all leads into what I think is probably one of, if not the best sequences in the entire franchise. Because I cannot believe that it took 35 plus years, but we finally got our sequence of a little good guy doll, Chucky, trick-or-treating. It's this beautifully stupid sequence. He's walking down the street with his little pillowcase sack and his Hello Kitty mask. And we find the real goal for this is actually, he knows that Jake won't tell him where the party is, so he's knocking on doors, kind of looking around. Hey, where's that party that I've heard about? Basically being Oliver's party because he knows that Lexi's gonna be there and Chucky's tired of fucking around and he wants to kill her. And you get a scene where Chucky gives a razor blade apple to this poor helpful neighbor. What did she do? She helped you. She answered your question. What did you gain from this? It's so great to see this body double walking around in the streets as Chucky with so many people surrounding him and nobody none the wiser. It's just great. Hear Brad Dourif's voice lines come out of it too while he's walking past people, telling them they look like a bunch of damn idiots. Poetry. Now, even after telling Devin that he wasn't going to be coming to the party, Jake ends up coming to the party because he's freaking out. He's looking for Chucky. Chucky's gone, and he figures that Chucky is probably, rightfully, going to be attacking Lexi. He's looking all throughout the house, kind of freaked out, while Devin's being like, why the hell do you even care? Until the two of them run into Oliver's dickheaded ass, who throws them both into a closet to play 7 Minutes in Hell. Now, during the 7 Minutes in Hell sequence, this is actually the part that I mentioned earlier about Chucky actually making it to the house and playing video games with Caroline before going upstairs and trying to stab Lexi and Junior through the bed. And after they do make it out of the closet, Jake finally finds Lexi on the dance floor, in which he's trying to warn her about the danger she's in and make sure that she has not been killed yet. But he regrets all of this immediately as her Halloween costume that she's been alluding to throughout the entire episode is revealed. And it's none other than her dressing up as Lucas Wheeler, being electrocuted with a comedically large wig. She's his dad. She's his dead dad. For Halloween. This is definitely the scene in the series that's basically telling the audience, look, if you didn't think this girl was a bitch yet, well, you do now. I think it's actually realistic that characters there don't really know what she is, they just think it's funny. Because Devin literally asks Jake, I don't understand, what is it? And Jake has to tell her, she's my dad. And again, she is dressed up as this kid's dead dad, imitating the cause of death, who is also her boyfriend's uncle. Tone deaf, holy fuck. And I gotta say, the actress who plays Lexi, Olivia Allen Lind, she is wonderful. She is really good at playing a character, playing a stone cold bitch that really makes you hate her. So again, I have to give props to all of the young actors. You're all just doing fantastic. I love it. Jake is obviously very hurt and shocked to see this. He runs out of the house, but then exclaiming to Devin that he's gonna show her what it's like to get hurt, he runs right back inside. And what was he gonna do? Was he gonna run up on this 14-year-old girl like, come on, let's go? Because when he does find her, he can see Chucky standing up behind her ready to stab her, and he freaks out and grabs Chucky right after we get this really cool sequence of Chucky actually de-animating into the good guy doll form. Devin and Junior follow down the stairs too, and he grabs Chucky and runs past everybody, just getting out of the house. So I don't really know what he was intending to do. He said he's gonna show her what it's like to get hurt, but when he saw her about to get hurt, I don't know, you'd figure he'd just pull up a seat and watch. But the next sequence is Chucky trying to open up, trying to talk to Jake after the party, trying to be like, hey man, you want to talk about it? And he actually had this fucked up part where Chucky says, hey, about that punch earlier, I'm sorry and it won't happen again. To which Jake has to respond, yeah, I've heard that one before, which is probably true because that's exactly what an abusive parent would say, exactly the abusive parent that Jake had in the previous episode. And Chucky is still pulling kind of just these toxic strings on Jake, you know, he's still using words like man the fuck up. And he's really trying to push him to do this. He genuinely wants Jake to really snap and get to that point to where he just starts killing people. And that's what I think Chucky's ultimate goal is with Jake. There's a lot of theories that Jake is actually like a nephew of his or part of his family or something like that. But I don't think so. I think if Tiffany did leave Chucky at this garage sale randomly, I think his fate meeting Jake is exactly that, just random fate. And I think again, after Chucky is actually getting to see Jake operate, to see his daily life, he can see that he might be able to add somebody to the greater cult of Chucky. Because if anything, I think the one thing that Chucky likes out of life these days is simply to be entertained and to have fun. And I think traumatizing and trying to push Jake into the situation of killing somebody is exactly that. It's completely entertaining for Chucky. But as we go, we're going to keep finding out. Will Jake actually pull the trigger on somebody? Did Chucky actually kill the maid? Probably. But either way, we're still going to be here every week talking about it on Talk of Chucky. I really love this episode. I thought it was a great serviceable Halloween episode. I thought it was really fun to actually talk about the holiday in the series of Child's Play. And I'd say my only complaint with it was the length. It was one episode that by the end of it, I was like, this seems like it's the final sequence. And when it was the final sequence and the black hit to the credits, I went, oh, damn it. That's a good complaint to have, right? To be upset that it ended. But it was a little bit shorter than episodes 1 and 3, so I'm hoping from here on out the episodes really aren't that short. I know I'm asking for a lot, but just fill out that hour marker, please. But we are going to get more of it next week, and the week after that, and the week after that, until the end of November. But until next time, we're going to keep theorizing, we're going to stay on top of it, we're going to keep thinking Chucky. And I'll see you right back here for the next episode. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Fizz, and that has been Talk of Chucky.